Okay, hello everybody. We are almost through. We are at the end. This is the last chapter of the semester. Oh, you are happy? Good. Look at her. She's so happy. Anyways, I will be missing you. This is probably the most important chapter of your life. Planning a healthy diet. This is something that we should all learn. It doesn't matter if you study nutrition. It doesn't matter if you are in a different department. Everybody is eating, right? We eat every day. So, but the question is, how do we eat? Remember, in the beginning, the first chapter was about food choice, right? How do we choose our food? What are the motivations? What are the reasons why we eat this food and not these other food? Then we enter into the food and culture, right? And we learn that culture is who I am. You know, the things that were put in me, my habits. Okay? So, and in that culture, we learn about the food culture, and we also, as we study acculturation, we also we target immigrants, people leaving the country to now go to a new culture, and they have to go through acculturation, a process of adaptation. And as they do it, right, they also may need to change the dietary habit, the food habits, what we call dietary acculturation. Okay? And as we study dietary acculturation, what did we say? We say, oh, now it happens that this immigrant seems to lose their health. Remember, we talk about the migrant health effect. Sorry, my phone is popular. So, yeah, my phone is popular, not me. So, the migrant effect, very important to really understand from where we started, right? From food choice to now we go into dietary acculturation, and now we talk about the migrant health effect. We say, oh, before these people came to, before they came to Korea, before they went to the US, before, in the case of Africans we studied last week, before they went to Ethiopia, we say, oh, their health was good, right? So the migrant health effect, we assume that the health of these people, generally speaking, is better than the health of the people living in the country of adoption. But after a time, when we look at the acculturation variable, one of the acculturation variables we talk about was like the language, right? We talk about duration of stay, we look at the age, and we also look at their food habits. And then we say, oh, their health is changing, right? Their health is going down. Then we start to look at, oh, it seems that immigrants, as they stay longer in the new country, they gain weight, right? Just like, for example, in the case of the US, you say, okay, they gain weight. And I told you that USA was a good country to study because of diversity of population living there. And you can find people coming from Africa, from Asia, from all parts of the world. So it's easier to actually study the migrant health effect there, the impact on the health of the foreigners living there. Oh, they're changing their food habits. Even though they were Koreans, now their children will eat more American type of food, you know. So, and then they gain weight. And our main target this semester was the relationship between obesity and other non-communicable disease. You still have the picture, and we talk about problems such as diabetes, we talk about high blood pressure, we talk about heart disease, right? We talk about these cardiovascular disease risk factors. So don't only study one element, all right? So we say, oh, these are all the problems associated maybe with immigration. The center point being obesity. Okay, these are the problems. We know the problems, but like I told my son, the reason the word problem is in the dictionary is because there is also the word solution. All right? We cannot only talk about the problems, so we gotta find the solution. And for us, studying in nutrition, we look at food and culture this semester. Now, we have to teach people how they can plan their diet. Okay? So do you understand how everything works, right? Yeah. So today, we have to learn how we should plan our diet. It's no longer about culture, all right? Culture is good. It's no longer about religion. Religion is good because culture and religion tell us which food to eat. Religion will tell us specifically how to go about it. We gave the example of the Jewish religion. Say, okay, don't mix meat and and meat, right? But today we now gonna go into, generally speaking, not to say we forget about the culture or the religion, but just like, okay, let us face the truth. We have a problem. How can we solve the problem? How do we plan our diet? Okay? So, and basically, you had this picture before. This one, you have on your PPT too, down the line on your PPT. So, basically, every day when we eat, right, our food must look like this one on the plate, right? We must have what? We must have vegetables, we must have fruit, we must have grains. Whole grain is preferred, of course. We're not going into details of some of those things. Next semester, if some of you take the nutrition class, we go into details of those things. But what we will say to the immigrant or to the foreigners, people coming from a different culture is, hey man, when you eat, this is the way your plate must look like. All right? So we have some proteins. As you see, here we have this nutrient, a very important one. I put protein here. I didn't put meat, because we also have to include the vegetarians, saying that, hey, you don't have to eat the meat. Coming from some culture, say, okay, hey, in my culture, we don't eat. For example, we talk about the Hindu. Oh, we don't eat the cow, right? In our religion, we don't eat cow. Hey, no problem. You don't need to eat cow. You can replace it with some other things that give you protein, like beans, for example. All right? So this plate is a universal plate for everybody. It doesn't matter what is your religion. And very important, as you see on this plate, usually in the food and nutrition class, on the side, I put milk, right? But in this one, we put the water, right? Okay, we put water, which, as you know, is the most important nutrient. Okay, I will talk about water for a little bit before we go into the 6 principles of diet planning. There are 6 principles of diet planning, and every time you eat, you must ask yourself, oh, do I have this? Do I have this principle there? Do I have this one there? Do I have this one there? If one is missing, ping, 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 and then we have a problem. Okay? All right. So the first one, as I say, I put water here, and I remember, I think on the second class, I asked you how much water we must drink daily. Mohammed, do you remember that question? Do you remember how much water we must drink daily? And I told you, okay, just wait, we'll talk about it later on. Sometimes I have a good memory, so I kind of, just like, I did not forget about you. You gave me an answer, And I told you, okay, just wait until the last class. So, do you remember how much water you must drink daily?
I don't remember the answer, but I answered it.
I did not give you the answer. I told you to wait.
I said at least 1.5 liter, like 8 glass. 8 glass of
You talk about cups and glasses. It was difficult to quantify. So you said 1.5 liters, right? Anybody okay with that? How much water we must drink daily? Huh? What do you say? Anybody? Nutrition students, how much water we must drink daily? How much? Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, you are in my food and nutrition class, we go into the details. But generally speaking, you know, the nutrition is, you know, how much water we usually say that we should drink? 2 liters. Now, most people will say like 2 liters, but we actually have there are different ways to quantify it. It is not necessarily like a straight line, okay? We can calculate it based on your weight, based on your age, and different classifications. But I will give you a very simple approach. A very simple approach, right, Mohammed? So we usually say, okay, like I said, we mention the nutrients, right? Before we go about it, we mention the nutrient. Anybody remember what is a nutrient? Yeah, what is a nutrient? No, definition. What is the definition of nutrients? Yeah. Yeah. All right, well, I still have some people awake, right? Good news. Anyway, so nutrients, okay, very simple definitions. You may have different ones there, whatever you can check. These are substances found, yes, exactly, in the food, right? That the body needs, you know, in order to function. All right. So we're talking about the nutrients here. And now you give an example of nutrients. What did I say? How many nutrients do we have?
6.
All right. So we have 6. All right. So and in these 6, we classify them in 2 groups, right? Which one and which one?
Micro.
So we have the macro, and then we have the micro. All right. So let's start with the micro. What are the micro one? So we have vitamins, right? And then minerals. Okay. And the macro. So we have carbohydrates, protein, fat, yeah, and then we have the water. I always put the water there in the middle because depending of where you are, where you come from. For example, the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, we classify water as macronutrient. So, and then you will have the UNICEF, right? The United Nations Organism for Children, that is actually helping, like children and mothers of developing countries that may classify it as macro, all right, as micro. So some people will remove water from macro because water does not give you energy, and they consider macro as energy producing nutrient. Okay, energy producing nutrient. So this is why depending on where you are, some people will say water macro, other people will say water as considered as a micronutrient. All right. So, nevertheless, water is is the most important nutrient. And as you know, 60 to 70% of our body kind of composed of water, and so we need it in big quantity. So based on that, we say that generally speaking, okay, how much of it do I need daily? So generally speaking, we'll say around 30 milliliter per kilogram. All right. So okay, around 30 milliliter per kilogram. So what does it mean? All right. So it means if my weight is 65 kilogram. Okay, let's take a very simple math here. Let us just put. Let's say if my weight is 60 kilogram. All right. So we're talking about 30 milliliter. So how much water are we gonna need? Yeah. So how much is it? How many milliliters do we have here? So which give us what? Around 1.8 liters. Okay? Understand? So this is just a general approach. But now, I will not go into details, but if you take your nutrition class with me, I will give you more details. For example, if you are a physically active person, you need to add a little bit more, depending on the physical activity that you are doing, all right? Okay, this is important to know, because for example on the exam, I will give you a problem because we've been calculating the body mass index. We've been talking about a disease, and so it will be good to really see the relationship. If I give you a problem, I say, hey, Professor Obiang weight 60 kilogram, his height is 160, what is his body mass index? You know, she's laughing. You must know, right? Everybody remembers how to calculate body mass index? BMI? And then you give me the classification. Oh, he's an immigrant. You know, he just came from Africa, and then after 20 years in Korea, his height never changed, okay? But his weight changed, and now this is his weight now, and what is his body mass index classification? And if he's obese or not obese, we look at the diet, and we look at the cardiovascular disease risk factors. How old is he, and what are the conditions? Okay? You guys should know these things, especially you guys in nutrition. Okay? All right. So now let us go to the heart of today's subject. All right. How do we plan a healthy diet? We have 6 principles. 6 principles of diet planning. Okay. Remember, I talked to you about the nutrients, substance found in the body, and a couple of chapters back, we know that the macronutrients will give us energy. All right. So everything is really about how much I put into my body. Okay. So we have 6 principles that you have that on your PPT. They are all written here: adequacy, balance, kilocalorie control or energy control. Remember in this class I said if I say energy, we're talking about kilocalorie, right? Nutrient density, I will explain that. Moderation, and the last one, variety. Okay? Last one, variety. So now, when you have these people coming, you say, hey, this is the way you should plan our diet. You must follow these 6 principles. Okay? So let's look at the first one. Adequacy. What does it mean, adequacy? Here, keep in mind my plate, the picture, all right? Keep in mind the picture here. So adequacy means here that you have sufficient energy. It means that the food that you eat has sufficient energy. that will keep you healthy, because remember, nutrients job is what? Is allows the body to function properly and keep you healthy. So when you have your plate, right, you ask yourself the question, is this place, does the plate have enough energy, you know, to help my body function properly? In average, how much energy do we need daily? How much energy? Yeah, exactly. But you know, it may vary for gender, also your age or your health condition, or if you are physically active. You know, people will say generally 2,000 kilocalories, you know, a day. But it may be a little bit lower, it may be a little bit more, also depending on your body structure. But we're not going into details on that. Okay? And we also ask if these nutrients are adequate. Do I have enough energy? Are they good nutrients? For example, Gian, I'm going to tease you a little bit, right? So this morning, right, she was eating these small cookies. And I told her, what is this? She said, oh, breakfast. Really? Okay. So this is her breakfast, right? These are small cookie. All right? And not only her, you know, Jimina as well. No, Paxoe as well. I don't know why this one is so popular. So the question is, first question is this cookie, does it contain enough energy? Right? This is the question. Do you ask yourself that question when you have your plate, when you're eating? First question is, do we have enough energy in this cookie, you know, to provide energy, to help the body function? Some people may say, oh, yeah, if you eat a lot of these cookies, maybe you have enough energy. Matter of fact, we will be talking about this a little bit later. Somebody may say, if I drink a lot of soju, soju gives me, how many energy you get from 1 gram of alcohol? Yeah, 7 kilocalorie, right? And then you may argue that, oh, this is enough energy. All right? So let's keep this cookie now for now. We will keep talking about this one. All right? Do I have enough energy in this cookie? All right? Number two is balance. Okay? Number two is balance. Can you go to your plate, my plate? Look at my plate again. Look at your picture on my plate again. Alright, I'm just gonna go back here. So you have this plate, right? Look at the plate. The plate is divided in 4 parts. But all the 4 parts are not equal. So usually when we talk about balance, we usually think left equal right. And that we have to eat the same amount of food. It is not true. Okay? So here when we talk about balance, it means I have enough, but not too much. I have enough, but not too much of different type of food. The keyword is in proportion one to another. I give you a very good example. Alright, because I'm recording these videos, I'm not going to tell the name of the restaurant today. Sometimes I go there, right? So I don't want them to be mad at me. But anyways, this is so you have your plate. Alright? You have your plate. We talk about balance. We don't want too much of one thing. And then they give you the food, they say, oh, we divided the food, so we usually have it like this. And then all these parts, they put the meat. So meat will give me what? Protein. Okay, I'm having a lot of protein, so I'm kind of happy. But the protein on my plate is actually half of the plate, all right? And then here, okay, we are in Korea, so they will give you like some rice. We now talking about the grains, all right? So they put you some rice here and stuff like that, you know. and you know, they will give you something that looks like fruits. Not really fruits, it's kind of like kind of candy, right? Yeah, yeah. But they say that it's fruit. So I eat. I try to eat. And then we have something that look like vegetables. You know, these nice cut small cabbages. What is the problem with this picture? Number one, if you look at the picture has everything of my plate. Everything is there. If you look at this picture, oh yeah, they also have water. I mean, most of the time they give you soda. As you know, I don't drink, I will not say the name, but you know which drink I don't drink. I use it to clean my sink. So, so when you look at it, you have water, say, hey, everything looks okay, right? Everything looks okay. Because you have the protein, you have the vegetables, the fruit, the rice, so you have everything. So what's the problem? The problem here is it is not balanced. Why it is not balanced? Because we have too much of one food, compared to the other ones. And in this case, we have too much of what? Exactly. All right. I'm actually being very nice. Sometimes, you know, we just have the meat. One of the popular food in Korea is what when you eat samgyeopsal, right? This is a barbecue, pretty nice. But basically, you just eat like the meat and soju, I guess. All right. What it is delicious, but what's the problem? It is not balanced. All right. The same when you eat the chimek, chicken and beer. All right. That's all you eat. Delicious, but it's not balanced because we have too much of one group of food. Okay, okay? So this is what balance means. So second question, when you have your plate, you ask yourself, is my plate balanced? All right? Is my plate balanced? So your plate must look like this one when we have more vegetables. And we will look at your last slide when we talk about the vegetarian diet, you know. A very good diet that actually reduces risk of cardiovascular disease. And this is a fact that people who are vegan seems to be healthier than the meat eaters. Okay? So the plate, so the plate must look like this one. More vegetables, some fruit, and the other side it's somehow half-half, talking about grains and proteins. Okay, okay? So when we plan a diet, ask yourself the question, do I have balance on this one? All right? Number 3 question, a very important one, we have been talking about this one, is kilocalorie control or energy control. All right? This is the part when we mention risk of cardiovascular disease now, and we talk about the problem of obesity. What did we say? We say energy in must be the same as energy out. All right? So here, the amount of energy coming into the body from food should balance with the amount of energy being used by the body. All right? This is why the Korean the Korean plate is actually very good. Because the Korean plate, what does it show you? It shows you that after eating, you must be on your back. Right? The Korean plate shows that after eating, you must do some physical activity. Why? Because you put energy in the body, right? You must also take some energy out so that you don't gain weight. All right? But if you put energy in the body, all right, you put energy in the body and you just sleep or just sit and watch some Korean drama, energy will stay in the body. And then you eat again, then we are facing with the problem of obesity. All right? Which simple definition, right? We're having too much energy in the body. It's a very simple definition of obesity. This is like too much energy in the body. So we need to release that energy. All right. So kilocalorie control, this is the approach, you know, for weight loss if you want. All right. And again, yeah, you're laughing, right? How do we call this one? We are talking, mentioning when we talking about what? I mentioned when I talk about the cooking, we talk about empty. Exactly. So you know it, right? So when you were eating this one, so you knew what it is, right? But again, we don't have the composition nutrition class. We learn how to read the food label, how to calculate energy. Here, we are talking about empty calorie food. All right? Don't confuse. Oftentimes, when you hear about empty calorie food, you see the word empty, you just think, oh, there is no calorie or there is no energy. That is not true. All right? You have energy. Soju has energy. All right? But the problem when we talk about empty calorie food is that it has energy, but little, right? Little or no protein, vitamins, or minerals. This is the problem. Remember, we talk about adequacy, having sufficient energy, all right? And we want to make sure that we have all the nutrients, because when we eat, I must have the 6 groups of nutrients, all right? If you only eat this with a glass of water or whatever, or soju, so you may ask the question, do I have all the nutrients in this food? All right? It has energy, all right? But the definition of empty calorie food is one that has energy but has little or no protein, vitamins, or minerals. Okay guys, everybody must know that definition before Christmas. Yeah. Before Christmas, because if you want to have a good Christmas, this one may actually come up. Alright? So when we talk about the choice of food, this is what we're talking about when we educate people. Just like, okay, you just having alcohol and you're just eating this, but probably just empty calorie food right there. Alright? Just something to keep in mind. So again, energy control. Energy in must equal energy out. So then, you know, our weight is not changing that much. And one of the reasons, as you know, sometimes when people change the country, they go to a new place, you know, if we talk about the relationship between social and economical status and your health, if they are poor, they may just eat nutrient-dense food, all right? And these nutrients and this food with a lot of energy, all right, these are the food sometimes you will see, okay, some new Arab immigrants eating, especially if they don't have a lot of money, all right? So go to your next slide when we talk about nutrient density. This is my favorite picture. I'm keep the cookie again, because you say that you eat it for breakfast. You too, right? Breakfast! Oh, Lord. All right. Okay, guys. Look at the picture. Now, question number 4, principle number 4, we're talking about nutrient density. This is actually a very important concept to understand. Very important to understand. Nutrient density. So, when we talk about nutrient density, we want all the nutrients. Remember, we want all the nutrients, the 6 group of nutrients. We want them. But we also mentioned in number 3 about energy control. But what we don't want too much energy. Okay? We don't want too much energy. So the goal here is to have the most nutrient for the fewest calorie. And I really like this picture because it's a good illustration. Here on your PPT you have 2 pictures, right? Picture A and picture B, or if you want, left and right. So on the left one, you have like a big breakfast where you see like cereals, banana, a sausage, and toasted bread, a cup of fruit. I don't know if it looks like tea, right? Is it coffee or tea? I think it's tea. Or coffee. You think it's coffee? Let's say coffee. And on the right one, you only have like, 2 donuts, right? Looks pretty small. And so we look at it, and then we ask the question. The goal is we don't want to have too much energy, all right? And then you have these people, and then we ask the question, which breakfast would you recommend? Which breakfast is better, A or B? A? All right. Everybody say A is better, right? Anybody says B is better? Anybody thinks it's B? Which breakfast, if you don't want to have too much energy, which breakfast will be better? A or B? Everybody saying A? Nobody's courageous to say B? Nobody? So we have A here, and we have B. All right? Okay, so now, I still have your cookie. I mean, you say that A is better, but you choose a B-like cookie. I don't understand. You have to be consistent. So why do you choose A and you eating B? No, I mean, come on, man. Right? You're okay with me, right? She says A is better, but she's eating B. I don't get it. Anyways. You didn't have a time to eat A. Oh, boy. This is what everybody says. Oh, do you exercise? No, I don't have time. But I have time. I have time to watch drama. I have time for makeup. I have time to chat with my friends. But never time to go to the gym. Never time to eat a good breakfast. All right? Okay. Okay, let's say, but you know that this is not the best, but you choose. All right. So let us go. Let us think the science behind it. Nutrient density. So now the fourth question is, do I have nutrient density? Definition of nutrient density is what? I want all the nutrients, but fewer calories, not too much energy. Okay? Because we know too much energy in the body is not the best for us. But so let us now think. I want to start with the quantity. All right? I want to start with the quantities here. So here I put quantity. Right? How much of A, how much of B? So A is 450 grams. Okay? This is 450 grams of food. Okay? And B is what? B is only 144 grams. Mohammed, you need to say or B? B or A? But A looks like too much in terms of quantity. You still stick with A, or you want to change? You stick with A, even though it's a lot. Alright, so we look at here, A looks like a lot of food. But do you remember, I asked you the question 2 weeks ago when we talked about the problem of obesity, and the statement was, oh, maybe the biggest problem of obesity is not... Huh? Yes, but it is... Exactly. Remember that one? It is not necessarily how much you eat, but it is exactly the kind of food, the type of food that you eat. In this case, A is a lot of food. Maybe some people will say it's too much. Alright? B looks like little, only 144 grams. So, alright, now let's talk about energy because we are interested in kilocalories here. We talk about energy. How much energy do I get from A? I get 500 kilocalories from A. Okay? And from B, how much energy do I get? 500 as well. Now, very interesting here. A is a lot in quantity, but even though B seems to be smaller in quantity, both give me the same amount of energy. Alright? So, now, when we calculate the density here, in our case we're talking about nutrient density, okay? For 1 gram, 1 gram of the food A will give me, what you do is 500, you take 500 kilocalorie, right? So you divide it by 450 what gram, right? So how much energy do I get from this one? Exactly. Good job. 1.1 kilocalorie per gram of food. You guys understand? So 1 gram of this food will give me 1.1 kilocalorie in terms of energy. Remember, in number 3 we're talking about kilocalorie control. So I must check how much energy I'm putting in my body. Okay? Alright, now, how about B? How much energy I'm getting from 1 gram of food B? Exactly. I get 3.5 kilocalorie per gram. Now, do you guys understand that when you go to Daegu International Airport, you know, you have like Dunkin' Donuts there, and since you guys like to do the pali pali, I didn't have time, so I have to eat quickly. So, you know, 1 gram of this donut actually give you more energy than having a complete breakfast. Again and again, I know that people don't like to hear it, and myself, I told you that the number 1 reason of obesity is overeating. But now we have to rethink it, that it is not the major player here. The major player is the type of food that we are eating. Okay? Understand that. But yeah, in all nutrition books, everybody will say, oh, people eat too much, Americans eat too much, Africans eat too much. But it's really what is inside the food. It is not so much the food. It is what is inside the food. Okay? Always remember that. When you work at the hospital and you give food to people, you need to know what is inside the food. You know, this week is, for example, the American Thanksgiving. You know, people will be eating turkey and putting all kind of things. You cannot eat like this every day. You know, you call it at Thanksgiving once in a while. All right? If you eat like that every day, you're pretty much set up to be sick for the rest of your life, right? So it's really what is inside the food. Everybody understand nutrient density? So now when you look at the food that you're eating, you have to look at nutrient density. Remember, chapter 1, chapter 2, I asked you the question about what is food security. Alright? Food security is having enough food, right? Every day, I don't worry. I remember I asked Mr. Julien, oh, did you eat yesterday? Did you? And he was just like, don't you have another question to ask me? Alright? Because it's kind of obvious that we have food. But then this is not a problem. The problem is what kind of food are you eating? This is the problem. What kind of food are you eating? You can eat every day. It doesn't necessarily mean you are food secure if that food is going to make you sick. Then we talk about the problem of food safety, because now the food that I'm eating, it is not safe for me, it's making me sick. Okay, okay? Alright, number 5. Okay, before I go to number 5, I was talking about the nutrient, I was talking about empty calorie food, remember? Talking about our good friend here. Look at this table. You have food, you have A and B. Let's go quickly about this one. You have that on your PPT. The green line here, these are the nutrient-dense breakfast, and yellow nutrient-poor breakfast, right? This is the yellow part here, the food, the B food. Let's look at, for example, vitamin C. Do you see any vitamin C in food B? 0. Okay, we have a bit of protein, right? A bit of fibers, a bit of calcium, but compared to food A, there is no match. Okay? So probably this has no vitamin on it. Alright? A lot of sugar. It tastes good. It gives you, like, you know, some instant energy, because you're going to school, you're running, so you need some energy. Yeah, once in a while, you know, we can do it. Alright? Because, you know, we're in a rush, we just need some quick energy. Alright? Alright, so number 5 is moderation. Okay? Moderation, for those who took the nutrition class with me, we talk about the food pyramid. Basically here, we do not want to have food with excess of fat, salt, and sugar. Alright? So basically, let's take our friend again. This is very sweet. I am smiling, right? Do you have that one too? I hope not. Alright? So this one, yeah, you have a bit of everything on it, right? A lot of sugar and some fat and stuff like that. Moderation means this type of food, these are the food that we eat once in a while. Okay? These are things we have to eat in moderation. Not too much. Not in excess. Alright? Eating this daily is an open door, you know, for the hospital. Okay, okay? So when we plan our diet, we have to make sure that this type of food, we eat this type of food in moderation. Alright? So even though, as I wrote on the PPT, that food rich in fat and sugar give us enjoyment, right? Tastes good, feels good, and also give us some energy, right? But what did they do? They promote weight gain, meaning that eating these will actually help us to gain more weight. Okay? And when we get more weight, as you know, talking about obesity being the center, we open doors for other diseases. Okay? So let's be very careful when we plan our diet. Okay, so the last one, of course, is variety. A very important one. Now the last one is variety, and you can go back to the breakfast picture. Okay? Go back to the breakfast picture. It will better illustrate what I mean by variety. So, so this is what we have. So we are this is Monday, Tuesday, okay, Wednesday, okay, okay. So remember, on my plate, you have food groups in your plate. Which food groups do you have in your plate? What shall we have? Fruit? Vegetables? Huh? You have grains? Alright? Yeah, and then protein. Well, protein is the only nutrient that we found on my plate. Alright? Because in protein, yeah, you can divide into, you know, meat or beans, and, you know, so you have the two food groups there. We want to make sure that we eat all the food groups. Okay? So let us start. Let us start here. I'm doing a 3-day. I'm doing a 3-day. You have somebody at the hospital, he's sick, he's going to be there for 3 days. So the doctor tells you he's going to be here for 3 days. So we need to give him like a well-balanced, you know, meal for the next 3 days. Okay? So what do we need? On my plate, what do I have? I have vegetables, right? What do I have? I have grains. Okay? I have what? I have fruit. Okay? What else do I have?